We'll start with General Orders number 51, Senate File 1703, Senator Mathews.
Thank you, Madam President and members. It's an honor for me to present this bill to you today, Senate File 1703, titled the Atomic Veterans Day, seeking to recognize July 16th to be a day of recognition to be classified as Atomic Veterans Day. Several years ago, I was in the same position as many people are. I did not know what an atomic veteran was, not until I met one who lives in my area, lives in the same city that I am nearby. And an atomic veteran is defined as a veteran who, as part of his or her military service, has participated in nuclear involvement as a part of their military service, including all the way back to those that were in military operations in and around Hiroshima or Nagasaki as far back as World War II, or those that were held as POWs in those vicinities in certain cases. It also recognizes those that have been a part of radiation cleanup projects, such as Enewetak Atoll from 1977 to 1980. Also covers those that have been handled or exposed to depleted uranium weapons, those that have participated in cleanup of different disasters such as Fukushima, and even in some cases those that are stationed or work on nuclear ships or submarines. The reason why July 16th has been chosen is July 16th was the date that the first atomic bomb was dropped in New Mexico, the codename Trinity, of the trials, practice runs that we did. And these veterans are those that many intentionally have been placed in harm's way to deal with their missions that were in front of them. Many of them have undergone significant physical and psychological harms and effects as a part of their service that they themselves had to deal with, and many of their family members as well. Back in 1983, there was a proclamation that passed the U.S. House and Senate and was signed by President Reagan to designate Atomic Veterans Day in that year. And there have been organizations that are pushing for state legislatures and federal legislation to further advance and to further recognize this group of veterans.
And Senator Mathews, I apologize for interrupting, but it is very loud in here, and so we really need people to be quiet and pay attention to Senator Mathews. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. This has recent history here in Minnesota. Just last year in 2016, the Minnesota Senate and the Minnesota House passed resolutions in support of declaring July 16th, 2016 as Atomic Veterans Day, and Governor Dayton issued a proclamation to that effect as well, designating for that one time last year this date to be designated as a celebration for our atomic veterans. And all this bill does is seek to make this permanent and make this an annual recognition for this small but important section of veterans and the service that they do. There's approximately 1,000 veterans in the state of Minnesota that qualify as an atomic veteran. And I am doing this, number one, because of a constituent of mine who is an atomic veteran that has been pushing this and has been fighting on behalf of veterans for many years. This has been an honor for me to learn more about this, to push this legislation, and to help encourage this story to be told. And this is very meaningful for families, even sometimes more so than the actual member themselves. The recognition, the remembrance, and the stories of the families, both of those who have served early on, those who have passed on, as well as those who are still living and are here with us today. So for all these generations leading back to World War II up till today, we want to have this go forward as a proclamation to help this story be told. The missions that these veterans have done the impacts that it has had, and the heroic service that they have given to our country. Approximately 12 states so far have passed similar legislation declaring this day as Atomic Veterans Day, and there are more in the works. So members, with that, I ask you to join me in supporting this section of our veterans, and please support this bill to pass Atomic Veterans Day. Thank you, Madam President.
Further discussion on Senate File 1703. Seeing none, Secretary will give Senate File 1703 its third reading.
Senate File Number 1703, a bill for an act relating to veterans designating July 16th as Atomic Veterans Day.
Third reading. Senator Abler.
Thank you, Madam President, and I don't need to add a lot of words to what Senator Mathews did, but this kind of a piece of legislation deserves at least two people to comment about it. We all agree we want to honor this particular group. I worked on this before Senator Mathews last year, and he's done a much better job. He's gotten the bill much further, so that was a good handoff, and we did represent the same individual who happened to move out his way. But so many of these groups have done so much, and many of these individuals didn't even know that they were exposed to radiation at the time. The radiation poisoning and sickness was largely unknown. Some of these men and some women found themselves tapped on the toe at 5 in the morning. They got in the truck and then they went to observe nuclear detonations, which, by the way, is not a good idea, and they found out the hard way. And so it's nice we can honor those who survived and those who have not, and those families who grieved their lost ones, who gave their all for this great country of ours. So thank you, Madam President.
Further discussion on Senate File 1703. Seeing none, the Secretary will take the roll on Senate File 1703. All those senators having voted who desire to vote, the Secretary will close the roll. There being 67 ayes and no nays, the bill is passed and its title agreed to.